Trifecta by Dean Pearl. Chapter 4. The next day was Monday, and it was mid-morning when Max got a call from Leslie. "How's it going today, tough guy?" Leslie teased. Max laughed out loud. "Are you kidding? Compared to you and your sister, I'm just a 98-pound weakling." "I just wanted to touch base with you about scheduling some lesson trades," Leslie told him. "We're closed on Mondays, and I was thinking that Monday's probably a day off for you most of the time as well." "Actually, that's correct," Max assured her. "Mondays would be a good day for lessons. Did you want to do both on the same day, like you teach me in the day and I'll teach you two later in the day or that night?" "Yeah, that sounds pretty good," Leslie said. "If you want, after you come to the dojo for your lesson, then we can go back to our house for music lessons, since we have a little studio set up to practice in, so our stuff is already set up." "That sounds great," Max told her. "Did you want to start today or wait until next week?" "No time like the present," Leslie assured him. "Do you have a particular time in mind today?" "Well, I guess if we're going to do them back to back, we should wait until after lunchtime to meet at the dojo. Then we should still have most of the afternoon to get you two started on lessons. I figure since there are two of you, we should go 2 hours per lesson for you two and 1 hour for me. How's that sound?" he asked. "Sounds great to me," Leslie replied. "So we'll see you at the dojo about 1 p.m. then?" "I'll be there with bells on," Max remarked before they hung up. Max hung up the phone, then just kicked back on the couch to watch some TV and think about this new little project he had going on with the girls. He was looking forward to learning about some good self-defense techniques, and he was also curious just how good these girls already were on their instruments. Their level of discipline was probably a good way to make strides as musicians. For all he knew, they could be better than him. He started to wonder if perhaps he could put together a little trio with the girls, so that instead of just teaching them how to advance on their individual instruments, he could actually start them learning and rehearsing songs for a band that they could play together with. After all, he thought, it's not like it's ever a bad thing to have two girls that look like models in your band to get attention. Then it's just a matter of delivering a tight, finished sound to possibly turn their act into one of the hottest bands in town. He grabbed a pencil and notebook he kept on the coffee table in case he felt some inspiration coming on, and he started to make a list of some easy but popular songs that the public usually liked and were also good for dancing. It didn't take him long at all to come up with a list of 15 songs that could serve as a whole set, which was usually about an hour. The list was mostly older but familiar songs, like Louie Louie by the Kingsmen, Wild Thing by the Trogs. Both were three-chord wonders, and he added a couple easy ballads like Wonderful Tonight by Eric Clapton and Creep by Radiohead, which was a little newer. He figured he could get them started with those 4 songs and see if they could have them ready to play by their next lesson. It was about noon when he made himself a light lunch, knowing he would be doing a lot of hard physical stuff and didn't want to feel too full. He dressed in some sweats, then gathered up his backup guitar and a small amplifier that had a mic input as well as a guitar channel. He loaded them into his van and drove up the street to the dojo. He arrived about 10 minutes early, so the girls hadn't arrived yet, but right at 1 p.m. they pulled up and they all went into the dojo. Leslie went in and got him another gi with a white belt and told him that it was a gift from them, so he would always have one, and that now he just had to get good enough to step up his belt colors. The girls stood on the mat and signaled Max over. "I'm going to first show you some warm-up exercises," Wesley told him. "You don't want to end up pulling a muscle or something." As Wesley and Leslie both started some stretches, Max stood across from them and copied their movements. "Very good," Leslie told him. "You have nice form and a very good flow to your movements." Then they did a handful of other stretches before Leslie said they were going to show him a few basic moves. They had Max stand to the side as Wesley and Leslie faced off with each other, and Wesley told Leslie, "Come at me like you're throwing a punch at my face." Leslie did what her sister asked at full speed and full force as Wesley deflected her blow and gave her sister a pulled-back punch to the stomach, then a leg sweep, taking Leslie to the mat in 2 fast moves. "Okay, now you try it," Leslie encouraged. "First, you be the aggressor and try to hit me so you can see how I defend against you. Then we'll switch roles." Max was feeling pretty apprehensive, but motivated, and he tried to swing on Wesley, who just repeated the moves she used on Leslie, and suddenly Max found himself on the mat. "Okay, now you try it on me," Wesley insisted. Wesley squared off with Max and threw a punch at him. She was quite surprised that Max made a perfect move to block her punch and punched her in the stomach, but very lightly so as not to accidentally hurt her, then did a well-executed leg sweep that sent Leslie right to the mat. "Wow," Leslie remarked, "that's about the fastest I've ever seen anybody pick up that move." "I'm impressed," Wesley said as she picked herself up off the mat. "Good job, Max." Next, Leslie worked with him on how to escape from a stranglehold if someone comes up behind you and tries to grab you around the neck. And again, Max was picking it up like he was a natural. What all he was really trying to do was impress the girls enough so that he wouldn't look like a wimp. This went on for over an hour as the girls kept showing him stuff and Max nailing it every time. At the end of the lesson, as they were taking a break and sipping some water, Leslie went in back and came out with a yellow belt and handed it to Max. "What's this for?" Max inquired. "I think that starting you off with a white belt was a mistake on our part. Don't you agree, Leslie?" "Absolutely. He's really a natural," Leslie said, smiling at Max. "So we're going to start you off with a yellow belt," Leslie told him. "Most beginners have to have a half dozen lessons or more before being awarded this." Max was smiling ear to ear as he thanked them both for their votes of confidence. "Well," Max told them both, "I guess now it's time for you two to show me what you got musically." Taking a big gulp of water, Leslie replied, "I guess it is." "You ready to show him our stuff, little sis?" Leslie laughed hard. "Little sis? You were like born 2 minutes before me." "But that still makes me the older sister, and your big sister," Leslie chided gently while laughing. They all gathered up their things. The girls told Max to just follow them over to their place. It was only a couple blocks from the dojo. Max was really jazzed up about this whole project as he got in his van and followed the girls home. They lived in a split-level contemporary home that looked well taken care of. As he walked in with his guitar and amp, he was taken aback by how nice and clean and tidy everything was. The furniture was rather retro, but it was intentional design, not just old stuff they'd had forever. He followed them to a finished basement that was indeed set up like a studio, and found a good spot to set himself up where he could face them both at once. As he plugged in, he ran off a couple of impressive guitar riffs to show off for the girls, whose eyes were wide open in awe of Max's playing. As he finished, he sat down his guitar and said, "All right, Leslie, let me hear you beat them skins a little." Leslie got behind her drums, picked up a pair of sticks, and started with a snare roll, segued into a couple paradiddles, and finished with a full, fast, hard turn around the toms, driving a solid beat for about 8 measures, then ending with a cymbal crash and grab. "The girl's got some skills," Max said to Wesley. "Okay, then you're up next," he told Wesley. He smiled at Leslie as she came out from behind the drums and sat next to Max. Wesley got settled in behind her keyboard setup, consisting of a multi-sound keyboard, a synthesizer, and a small keyboard bass. Max checked out her keyboard rig and asked, "So you play left-handed bass while playing the keys?" "I do my best," she assured him. She started by playing the opening to Color My World by Chicago and adding in the bass for the second round. Max was digging it. She played better than he expected, and by also playing left-handed bass, they could keep the act as just a trio. Wesley played a couple more keyboard-featured tunes, and Max said, "Okay, I see you're damn good too. I'm not sure if I could teach you both much more about how to play. You're both more accomplished than I expected. So here's what I'd like to suggest." The girls were all ears with anticipation. "I was thinking we might put together an actual act. A new trio with me on guitar and vocals and you two on drums, keyboards, and bass. What do you think?" The girls were taken back a bit. It was always their dream to actually play in a band in front of people, but they were both too apprehensive about their abilities to try and join a band. However, Max assured them they were definitely good enough, and by choosing the right songs and adding some rehearsal in, they could be playing out in a couple of months, he estimated. "You really think we're good enough to play in a band?" Leslie asked shyly. "Absolutely," Max encouraged. "Now let me hear you two sing." The girls looked at each other with a terrified look on their faces, and Max picked up on it. "Don't be shy," he assured them. "I just need to know if you have the abilities to sing on key. I don't expect you to be Star Search winners," Max laughed. "I also want to see if you have an ear for harmony. Does one of you sing lead and one sing harmony, or can you do both?" "Well," Leslie started, "I think Wesley's the better singer, but I do enjoy harmonizing with her," as Wesley nodded in agreement. Wesley went back behind her keyboard and played and sang a heart song as Leslie backed her up with the harmony part when it came up. Max was tickled to death that both girls actually had nice tone and range and no problems with pitch. "Oh man," Max said excitedly, "this is going to be fun." "What would we call ourselves?" Leslie asked curiously. "I was thinking of that last night when I came up with the band idea." "Do you know what a trifecta is?" Max asked. "Isn't it like a horse race bet where you have to guess the first, second, and third horses in the same order they come in?" Leslie offered. "Yes, that is one definition. But it's also 3 successful outcomes. A group of 3 things that work together successfully," Max explained as the girls nodded in agreement. "So what do you think about Trifecta as a name?" "Sounds perfect to me," Wesley said. "Me too," Leslie added.